Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Thanks for watching, as always, YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM Channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our affiliates across the country. Wes Reynolds on the program coming up in 15 minutes. We'll get his best bets for conference tournaments and college hoops, and also the Arnold Palmer Invitational with a loaded field beginning on Thursday. Basketball tonight, Pauly, it's a huge card. I have a player prop that I like tonight. You bet a money line parlay. There are 6 tanking teams catching. Well, the Kings number has come down against the Suns. It's now below 10, but around 10 or higher tonight. That parlay, fading all the junk teams, pays around plus 150. You hammered that last night, you said.
Well, the Bagley's out, Marshall, all these guys out for Dallas, plus they've been terrible, don't want to win, and Charlotte has been awesome. 4 wins in a row, 15 points or more, 13-2 ATS run. The great starting 5, the second time we can call it the death lineup, plus 179 in 281 minutes. Offensive efficiency of 136, defensive efficiency of 105, plus 30. Net rating. And they can name their score tonight. The one concern would be on deck, are you looking at the Celtic game? But I just think they name their score, and I think it's a good angle here. I'm not the only one to do this parlay, where there were 10 games, 7 of them, until the Laker game moved, we had 7 double-digit spreads. But 6 of them where Tankapalooza, you're going against these teams that are good or either need to win it, and these other teams want to lose, going through the motions, and you're seeing 12, 13, 16-point spreads.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here telling people that the Hornets are going to win the East. They're going to win the championship. They're too young. You asked me late last week, and do you concur? You have to build steps. There's building blocks that it takes for a young team to go through and get there before they actually win a championship. Now, with that said, if the Knicks are somehow the 1 seed or the 2 seed, I don't think there's a way in hell they want to play Charlotte in the first round. If the Knicks are the 2 and the Charlotte Hornets are like the 7.
Oh, it's a tough matchup. Tough matchup for anyone.
I don't think Detroit would want to see him in the 1-8.
I don't care who you are. Even it's for Boston. This is ridiculous. Yep. Remember, they started 4-14. So how well this team is playing, and those numbers don't lie. 18-2 when the starting fives when they're going, when the starters are there.
They had a 3-game stretch early in the season where they lost on the final possession.
Yeah.
A couple of those were at the buzzer.
Yeah.
And they had, I think it was 8 games that came down to the wire in the first 2 months of the year. They could be running away with this division right now. You could probably do that with, a lot of teams, but Brandon Miller, look, a lot of talk about Kneppel, rightfully so. Last 5 games, he's been awesome. He's averaging 5 made threes on 9.8 attempts and 24 points per game, but don't sleep on Brandon Miller. His last 5 games, 24.4 points per game in 26.7 minutes, mind you, and 5.2 made threes on 10.2 attempts. LaMelo Ball looks like, a JV player compared to those two, yet last 5 for him, 21-plus points, 4.2 makes on 10.4. They are absolutely deadly from downtown. So there's that game. Pistons-Cavaliers should be another doozy. They met last week. A bunch of Cavs players were out. The entire backcourt, Mitchell and Harden, they should have won the game.
Yep.
And in that game, Duren was awesome. So was Jared Allen. Jalen Duren's last 5 games, he's averaging 26 points on 63% shooting and 13.6 rebounds. Allen, 20.5 points per game and 10.5 rebounds. That goes all the way back to February 1st.
Oh, he's been good. Right back with the Allen props. Fire up the NBA prop analyzer at VSiN.com. Mobley, 7 straight unders with his assist prop. Detroit, 15-3 under run when they're favored between 1.5 and 5. No opinion on the side. Tough game. And certainly the Cavs were great. Blew in that 9-point lead Friday with 2:40 left and total ownage. The Knicks and the Raptors, it's 11 in a row and a 9-1-1 ATS run. They've blitzkrieged them a couple times this year. They've been so good. But hopefully this is the Knicks we're going to see come playoff time. What they've done in the last couple games, they had that horrible third quarter at Cleveland. But to dominate San Antonio, and Brown said their best defensive performance of the year. They've been good defensively, and that was a nice game from Bridges as well. 2.5 on the road against the Raptors. I will see it. I like to see your hand. I'll take the Knicks again. until they slow down or they have a tough loss here because they've owned Toronto, and that has worked out this year where some teams just has the other team's number.
Is it possible that it's just a really bad spot for the Knicks, and that's why it seems like it's a fishy number? You know what happens?
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, they were on cruise control Sunday. That wasn't a game. That was an early game. They blew them out.
Well, that was an 8, but that's an awesome performance against one of the best teams in the league. And now
score,
tomorrow night they have the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, okay. I'm at home. Okay. Yeah.
Because why is it 2.5? The 3 games this year, all Knicks wins. 116-94, 117-101, 119-92. 11-0 straight up against this team going back to the beginning of the 2023 season.
Yeah, maybe they think like that. We got the defending champs at home tomorrow. We own these guys. We blow them out every game. There could be maybe a letdown, but that's certainly a possibility and a tough call. And San Antonio, I think they bounce back and respond. Very popular. Kelly Bidlin likes them tonight. They're 7.5 against the Sixers without Embiid. And it just happened. I mean, they had a long winning streak, and they couldn't knock down a 3, and they did a horrible job offensively Sunday in the Garden. So that was their stinker. They were due for a letdown, and it happened. But I think they get right and take out the Sixers tonight, too. I don't have this in the parlay, though. I just did the... I just have the tanking teams in the parlay.
Okay, all right. You don't have the Pelicans, Lakers in that, do you? Okay.
No.
This number, like you said, has come down. Lakers around 8.5.
7-point move on the total.
Yeah, 243 touching that now. Lakers defense obviously has been really bad pretty much the entire year. The play that I'm on tonight and piggybacking Zach Cohen, the write-ups that you get every single day, by the way, in the NBA from Zach Cohen and Steve Makinen are absolutely fantastic. But as Zach wrote, Sadiq Bey over 16.5 points, minus 105, averaging 22.2 over his last 17 games. He had 22 against the Lakers in late November. Zion Williamson, question mark to play tonight. If he does go, a reminder here that the Pelicans are the best first quarter team in the league the last 2 months when Zion plays. So maybe a shot with them plus the points of Zion's a go.
LeBron has been great the last couple games. So you hear the noise and all the talk about the numbers are horrific when the big 3 are out there. The numbers are awesome when it's Reeves and Luka, and the numbers are terrible when it's Luka and LeBron. But going back from a prop standpoint, Reeves is on a 6-1 underrun points, 3-pointers, and PRA. So he's been going under, and Kennard's on a 6-1 underrun for threes as well. But this is going to be a crazy game tonight. And, hard to go over 243 now when it was 235 and 236 and 237. But the Pelicans just played a wild game against the Clippers, where the Clippers could have scored 160 if they wanted to in that game.
Who do you think is more difficult to deal with on a daily basis, Luka Doncic or J.J. Redick? J.J. Redick is extremely opinionated.
I think Luka is okay. He's just a problem when it comes to the officials and wants to argue with the officials every single game. I think he's a good teammate, but I think the stuff that gets them is get back on defense and stop getting so involved in arguing every single possession with the officials and let some stuff go. That was a problem in Dallas. But I don't know why. Which video?
There's a video that
Sunday?
surfaced the other night, where those two guys were almost tackling each other. And
it's not good.
Yeah, and J.J. Redick's not going to back down. Like I said, he's he has awesome sound bites.
Well, he was right, too.
And he calls the team out all the time. And Luka, I think, has the persona, and he has like the makeup of a guy who could be a coach killer in the NBA as well, where people like Redick are going to last a year or 2 years, and that's it before they move on. Because the franchise, other than Dallas, they're going to pick Luka over the coach pretty much every single time. And J.J. was also LeBron's podcast partner.
It was, LeBron wanted him,
hand selected by LeBron.
Right.
Well, LeBron's probably gone next year.
Right. LeBron's gone if they lose in the first round or in the second round. It doesn't look good. Maybe that could happen.
Yeah, and all that talk, by the way.
And he got new ownership, too.
Yeah, of LeBron going to the Bay Area and playing with Curry.
Yeah, I don't know what Pelinka's role would be either moving forward, what that's going to look like. Yeah, and they brought Magic back on board in some capacity. How about this? I'm not the only one to say this. Are we sure Golden State wants to win games? Between the product they're putting out on the court and what are you going to get OKC in the first round anyways? Is there a reward? I don't know if the listeners can help us out. Curry has had runner's knee for 3 weeks, swelling around the knee, and he can't. Every time there's an update, he's out another 10 days. He's out another 5 games. Why even bring him back now?
How about
to this point and just say, well, so what? We get the 8th seed and we get blasted by OKC?
Their performance on Saturday night at home against the Lakers was absolutely pitiful. That game was over with, no exaggeration, in the first quarter.
It was.
They were run out from the opening tip. And last night they had a 15-point first half lead, and they were eventually crushed by the Clippers.
Yeah, it's just a bad product they're putting out there. Now, in their defense, their best player's hurt. Their second best player's out for the year. And the guy they're traded for has got this ridiculous mystery illness all the time.
Uh-huh.
So, and then plus you got the lake of email with the fan on Reddit or whatever it was, and what Kerr's dealing with. So it's a bad team that they're fielding out there. And they just had that miracle win against Denver. And still, you got to be concerned about the Nuggets, who needed Murray's great game to hang on in Utah, who's tanking. They can't stop it. They can't guard anybody.
Right. Now, how about the rest tonight for the Suns? The last time they played, I believe, was that win over the Lakers.
Was it Thursday night?
Thursday night.
Wow.
So NBA teams playing, this is the Kings now, at home in the one-day rest scenario, are 92-48 under the total versus teams in the fourth game in 10-plus days over the last two seasons. A lot to that, obviously, but Mackinnon has it every single day. Favorites, by the way, in this series, Suns-Kings, 13-0 straight up, 10-3 ATS last 13.
All right.
I mean, so the Suns have been doing this pretty much the entire year. Now they get Booker back tonight. And like I said, that 16 parlay, Hornets, Magic, Heat, Timberwolves, Thunder, Suns around plus 150 tonight.
And Chet Holmgren's player prop points prop is 19.5. He scored 21 times since January 24th.
Wes Reynolds on the program coming up next. We'll get the best bets on the PGA Tour this week. Tonight's action in college basketball and conference tournament bets that he likes here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
A lot to get to here with our next guest as Wes Reynolds joins the program now. Get his weekly write-ups on the PGA Tour, his best bets at vsin.com. Also, you can listen to him with Matt Brown and Kelly Bidlin weekly with Long Shots Podcast, one of the most popular podcasts on the network, has been for many, many years now, and he is on the Progressive Guest Line. Wes, good afternoon. Thanks for the time, man. How are you?
Good afternoon, guys. I'm well. How about yourself?
Not too bad.
Good, sir.
So let's get into college basketball. Tonight's games on the card first. We have a common play here. I have A&M money line first half and money line full game. You also like the Aggies. Why?
I do. And the Aggies kind of need a win here. I think that they're on the right side. Like, they're probably in the NCAA tournament, and they've got some good wins, but have struggled lately and got beat pretty handily, where they were never really a threat to win the game against Texas on Saturday. So now you get a team that's probably power rated a little bit better in Kentucky, but Kentucky has struggled in these matchups this year where they play these 5-out teams that spread the floor. Georgia got him at home. Alabama got him pretty easily. And Texas A&M plays a very similar style with Bucky McMillan, Bucky Ball, they call it, where he played at Samford. So I think Kentucky's going to have a little bit of trouble guarding these guys. And A&M, this just seems like maybe catching a falling spot here where they've kind of, struggled of late, and you buy low, and I'm going to do that with the Aggies tonight.
All right, very good. I like this play as well. Texas Tech, after an incredible performance and a nice win, now laying a big number against TCU that's in, but sitting there on the 10 line. How about TCU catching a bunch of points?
Yeah, we kind of all, I think, maybe gave up on TCU once Toppin went out for the season, but they didn't give up. And credit to the Red Raiders of the fact that they go into Iowa State and win. They got a soft landing with Kansas State, and then they beat Cincinnati, and then they go to Iowa State. Now I think is the time where maybe they can get got here a little bit. And you talk about TCU, Pauly, kind of maybe on the right side on that 10 line. I still think they need another one, even though they've got really good wins. Like, they beat Florida. They beat Wisconsin back in November. They beat Iowa State at home. So Jamie Dixon's guys got plenty of good wins, and they slowed the tempo a little bit because it used to be that Texas Tech when they had Mark Adams there would slow it down. Now they're kind of running up and down, but I think TCU can really grind a pace, and they've grinded down a lot of the faster teams in the conference. So too many points for me. I took 9. It went down to 7, and then a little bit buyback on the Red Raiders. But I think at 8.5, that's enough to take TCU.
Okay. How about the Florida Gators? I think pretty decent chance still to get the 1 seed overall, the 4th 1 seed if they run the table. I think they're going to have a better resume overall than Connecticut. I might be wrong on that. They have been absolutely mauling teams as of late, and they're laying a gigantic number tonight, up to 23 at some spots at home against Miss State. But you want to fade the Gators?
I do, and it's actually dropping as we speak. It kind of broke that Thomas Hall got downgraded to out tonight for Florida. So I kind of think, and we've seen this a little bit, and Florida looks like an absolute juggernaut right now. Like, it's going to probably, I think, be between them and UConn for that 4th number 1 seed to be spoken for. I think UConn very much in the mix for that. But Florida, you just look at what they're doing. They're destroying teams, and they're relentless with their pace. And, they don't take shot clock down. They try to go and go and go and score and score and score, and they don't stop. But this kind of looks like a little bit of a dead spot, I think, to me. And we've seen that a little bit with Florida against some of the inferior competition of the SEC. They got that big win at Vanderbilt, right, when Vanderbilt was absolutely rolling and winning all those games in a row. And then they came home and played LSU, and they only won by 18. I say only won by 18, but that's a small margin considering what Florida has done this year. Same thing when they beat Kentucky. They play South Carolina, worst team in the conference, only win by 14. Mississippi State, obviously down this year. But I thought that was a little bit of a big number, and especially selling high off Florida, scoring 111 on Arkansas on Saturday night.
Yes. Okay. Very good. How about a unique way you're going to play the Carolina-Clemson game?
Yeah, I'm going to go team total under, and I did take a little bit of +4 when it was available. It's now down to 3, and I'm even seeing some 2.5 out there. I think slow start maybe for Carolina. They had that game against Virginia Tech where they ended up pushing on Saturday. They have the game, the return. They're going to Cameron on Saturday. We know Trimble, by the way, is going to go, but it is senior night, by the way, at North Carolina. And one of the angles I like to do, it's not necessarily a system, certainly not as good as Luke's system is doing right now as I'm trying to follow along with that. But I like to play some first halves against these teams on senior night, especially if they do the ceremony before the game. There was a reason why Bob Knight, all those years at Indiana, liked to do the senior night speeches for the players and the managers afterwards and not before the game. And Seth Trimble's been a kid that's stuck around in this program, could have transferred. So this is like a big night for him, right? So I would look either Carolina team total under 72.5 or Clemson +1.5. Clemson kind of seemingly got right on Saturday with a pretty dominant win over Louisville.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned Luke's angle plays. One that still qualifies. I believe the number is still available on Nebraska at UCLA catching 1.5. And I have the numbers, Paul, you asked for this earlier.
Yeah.
Nebraska, top 10 team on the road as a dog against an unranked opponent for the 4th time this year.
What?
Yep. Every single time it's been Nebraska.
Wow.
And the record so far, 1-2 straight up and ATS. And now here at Circa, that's down to a pick'em. But Wes, as a Big Ten guy, did you buy any Nebraska futures at all when they were really on fire to begin the season, and then maybe into December and a little bit of January? Or did you pass overall on the Cornhuskers?
Yeah, I passed on the Cornhuskers, and I respect them. And Fred Hoiberg's done an amazing job with these guys. But one of the things I worried about, Mitch, was a little bit with their athleticism because they're very skilled. But, you worry that because they don't get necessarily the highest level athlete in that program, but nevertheless, they are an older team and are experienced. But I've actually been really impressed with the defense, maybe more so than the offense, because Hoiberg, I think, is known as an offensive coach. But the defense has been awesome for these guys this year. Watching that performance at Michigan, where everybody, including me, faded them. It's like, okay, this is where they get their comeuppance, right? And they were right there against Michigan, who was rolling everybody at the time, and I think held them in the low 70s, which is one of the best offenses in the country up at Michigan. So they're a solid team, and I think that they could be dangerous. I did not buy any futures, though, because I just worry if they get in that NCAA tournament and they get one of these really dynamic athletic teams that can spread them out, I worry that they're not going to be able to keep up.
Overall, Wes, how does your college basketball futures portfolio look as of right now?
Well, I think it looks pretty solid. My best CLV probably is Arizona, taking them after they beat Florida. And there was a 30-1
Oh,
at a book out there with Arizona at that time. And they're one of the teams that got the goods. They're one of the teams that can win the whole thing. I don't care that they're kind of short on the bench, but they're right there. I still think UConn, if you can get them in like mid double digits, I think I've seen like 14 or 16 out there. I still think they're worth it. Their defense is starting to get a lot better, and they're starting, now that they're healthy, they're not fouling as much. If you watch them early in the year, it's like these other teams like BYU and these teams that they played would get in the bonus in like the first 8 minutes of the half. And now you're not seeing that as of now that they're healthy. So keep an eye on UConn, who's kind of getting ignored a little bit because the Big East is really down this year.
You're right with that. And I was saying all day on the show yesterday, it feels like a carbon copy of last year where you're going to have a ton of chalk in the Final Four, right? Because Duke is killing everybody. Arizona's killing everybody. Michigan, for the most part, they've had a great resume the entire year. And then that fourth team, UConn or Florida or what, it just seems to me like it's not going to be, we're not going to get a 5 and an 8 and a 3 in the Final Four. It seems like we're going to get 3, maybe all 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four again this year. Would you agree with that?
It would not shock me to see it go Clark Kellogg, as Clark usually picks all 4 number 1 seeds on that selection show on Sunday. But yes, and some of the teams that are kind of in that 3 and 4 line are kind of weak right now, or they certainly look weak coming into March, like a Purdue, who is a team that I thought was going to make the Final Four before the season. And it's like, man, they just can't guard. And, maybe Braden Smith's not keeping the main thing, if you know what I'm saying. Now he doesn't have the chip on his shoulder and he's got all that money as everybody was pursuing him in the NIL offseason. Yeah, something's wrong with Purdue. So I think you'll see some 3s and 4s get upset very early. But I think there's a lot of 1s and 2s in that regional final.
All right. You're going to hang around for another segment. We're going to get into the Arnold Palmer Invitational loaded field this week. Pauly was asking you before you popped on. We also have the Puerto Rico Open going on. You have one bet so far. Who is it?
Yeah, I'm going to send that in later tonight. Michael Brennan, 28-1, who won 3 times on PGA Tour Americas last year and then won on his PGA Tour debut at the Bank of Utah Championship in the fall. This is a guy, there's only 2 guys in the top 50 in the world rankings in that field this week. The favorite, Rasmus Højgaard, and Michael Brennan. So Michael Brennan, anywhere in the high 20s. I think probably worth a shot here in Puerto Rico.
All right. More with Wes coming up next. You can follow him on X at Wes Reynolds. And a loaded field, like I said, on the PGA Tour. Everybody's in this for the most part. We're going to get his analysis, some best bets as well, maybe some placement bets that he likes. We'll go top 5, top 10, top 20, however he wants to sprinkle it out. And then I have to ask him at this point how many bets he's made to win this year's Masters. That's coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue here. Now time for best bets on the PGA Tour. We get the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Wes Reynolds, our guest. I had it backwards. He's at Wes Reynolds 1 on X. He's on the Progressive Guest line. Before we get into the tournament, Masters now, a little bit more than a month out. I have a handful of bets on this event. Normally I have like 10 because I go hog wild in the offseason like an idiot. I've dialed it back big time this year. How many bets do you have on the Masters as of right now?
Yeah, I'm the same way, Mitch. I'm being a little bit more conservative and then kind of add as you go, and you never want to go too crazy. I've got 3 right now. One that a price isn't available, unfortunately. It's still, I guess, a somewhat fair price if you can get him in the 30s. But I did play Patrick Reed several weeks ago, and then he's won twice now on the DP World Tour. Because keep in mind, Patrick cannot come back. I believe I forget the exact date, but I believe it's August, where he can kind of get what like Brooks has, where he has some limited, PGA Tour membership and events. But Reed is playing a full-time DP World Tour schedule. And I credit him. He's putting it in the dirt and he's earning it over there. And now he's down to 30-1. And we know he's won here before. And even when he's been in lousy form in recent years, it's like, there's Patrick Reed, making every putt, gaining strokes around the green, chipping it in. And that's just what he does. So he kind of defies a little bit of the logic when you look at like the stats and break it down. So Patrick Reed is one that is still available. Minwoo Lee at 66-1. I think this guy's got the game to win here. I mean, he'll hit it all over the place, but he hits it long. And just the way he was a top 10, I believe, a couple years ago here. So Minwoo Lee, if you're wanting to look at one of the mid-range prices, I think is certainly worth a look. And then I'll have some shorter guys too. I will have I maybe will add Cameron Young. I'm kind of waiting to time him, right? Because I think he's going to win a big event this year. I just don't know when it is. He's currently about 40-1 out there in the market. Articles
up, VSiN.com, Arnold Palmer Invitational. Let's start with the course and your top selection. Take it away, Wes.
Yeah, 74-66, par 72, the Arnold Palmer Invitational, who's going to get the red cardigan this week. And it's a difficult course because it's thick rough and there's water in 9 plays. There's a lot of bunkers here. The greens are actually really big, about 7,500 square feet, but they're not as easy to hit as you would think. The par threes are really tough here. They average almost 220 yards or more. So this is played in the top 10 in terms of the toughest courses each of the last 6 years, even with the fairways widened a couple years ago. So, should be, I think, difficult. With the weather, they hadn't had a lot of rain, so you're probably going to get firm and fast fairways and get some roll out there. And the wind's going to be a little bit lower than it was last year. But this is not an event where you see like 20 under wind. Like this is low teens and sometimes even single digits. I think probably low teens in order this week.
Okay. Your top pick is going to be Rory?
Yeah, Rory at 10-1. And other than like signature events or majors, I don't like to bet a future at that low of odds. But I had him at Riviera a couple weeks ago, and he never put any pressure on Jacob Bridgman at the Genesis because he couldn't make a putt. I think he was like 40th of 51 and then 45th of 51 the next day in terms of putting. He didn't make a putt like outside of 5 feet until the 18th on Sunday when he was well out of it and Bridgman was going to win. But Rory, we know off the tee is where his game is usually best. However, this year, he is number 1 on strokes gained approach this season with his irons. This is the best he's hit his irons in 3 years. And if you watched him at Riviera, even though he didn't win, he's hitting like he's adding to his arsenal. We know he's long off the tee. We know he plays that draw, but now you're seeing him hit low stingers. You're seeing him hit different shots off the tee, and he's just adding to that arsenal. And he's already won twice, by the way, this week. He won the TGL on Sunday, and then he won the Seminole Pro member title with his dad on Monday. So he's in a good frame of mind. He's ready to go for the Masters, and there's a reason why you're seeing him plus 750.
All right. How about in the 25 to 30-1 range? A couple guys you like there in that ballpark.
Yeah, Paul, 2 of them. Colin Morikawa, who probably should have won this last year, had control of this event, if you remember. And then Russell Henley chips in off the green for Eagle at 16, kind of ripped it from him. But Colin, I think, in a better frame of mind now. He had that winless drought. And then he won at Pebble Beach, and maybe the nappy factor he and his wife announced they were expecting. I'm like, I wish you would have announced that before because then I would have played you because I like those type of angles. I was just too early on him playing him at Phoenix. But the putting's been bad, but the ball striking's too good to ignore. I think that he plays very well and hits a lot of fairways this week. And then Matt Fitzpatrick, he was the first guy I played. 25-ish, 28-1. He's been flush Patrick this year with the ball striking. Number 1 on the tour, 4th in approach, 5th in total driving. However, he ranks 141st in strokes gained putting this year. He hasn't ranked outside the top 30 in like 5 of the last seasons on the PGA Tour. He's an excellent putter. I think that POA in California really made him a little bit uncomfortable. Now he goes back to that Bermuda and Florida. I think those numbers improve drastically this week.
Okay. I was on Shane Lowry over the weekend, and I don't like betting on that guy. And now I'm probably going to draw a line through him. I don't want to be on him in the future. God bless you for going to war with Victor Hovland. I'm at the point of where I have to draw a line through him almost as well. But tell us why you think he's got a good chance to win this bad boy.
Well, that's where I am, Mitch, with Patrick Cantlay, because he's been Patrick can't play every time I bet him. So
yeah. Watch
him do well this week when I've completely ignored him. But Hovland actually should have won here 3 years ago when he got by Scotty there at the end. And then the next year he was that 54-hole leader, and then he had a miserable Sunday round and finished T10. Putting's been off the tee's been off, the approach has been good, but he's going back to a course where he's always played well. Maybe that's what's going to turn him around. He's the 14th price on the board this week. If you go up and down, there's 72 players in this field. It's like, wow, Victor Hovland is like, 13, 14 guys are priced better than he is, and probably rightfully so, just considering the form. But I took a chance with him. I know a lot of people are taking a chance with Auberg this week, who has been way off to start the season. I have to see at least a little bit from him before I get back on that train.
Okay, one more outright that you have this week at the API, and he was he charged up the leaderboard on Sunday. You like Nikolai Højgaard, huh?
I do. It's 60-1, and he was on the card. Didn't contend. Ended up T6,
yeah.
But you're right, Mitch. 7 birdies in the first 11 holes on Sunday before he kind of settled and cooled off there in the final few holes. But 3 top 6 finishes this season. 3rd in Phoenix, 4th in Dubai, 6th last week down there in Palm Beach. He is right now right at number 50 in the official world golf ranking. And why that's important is because that gets you in the Masters. His twin brother, Rasmus, who's the favorite, by the way, in Puerto Rico this week, is already in the Masters. Nikolai needs one more high finish to lock in that spot. And this is a guy that's not won on the PGA Tour, but he's won worldwide. Like, he took down Rory a couple of years ago at the DP World Tour Championship in Dubai. So he's a big game player. He's a European Ryder Cupper. I think the distance and the ball striking, like I kept going over the stats, guys, with strokes gained approach, total driving, strokes gained off the tee, bogey avoidance, and he just popped every single time in all these categories. Birdie or better, same thing. And I'm just going with the numbers here, and I'm going to take a shot a little bit down the board that this guy gets it done, or at least contends there at the end on Sunday.
Very good. Hey, Wes, you do an outstanding job every single week on the golf event. I read it. I put it up on Twitter as well. I take notes. I look at it. So winless on the year, I believe, right? But yes. wins are coming. They're right around the corner for you, man.
From your lips to God's ears, Mitch, or somebody's ears that can help me out. Hopefully we get one in the circle this week.
Yeah, it's happening sooner than later. Thanks, man. Great spot as always. We appreciate it. Good luck.
You bet, guys. Thank you.
And follow him on X at Wes Reynolds 1. He joined us here on the Progressive Guest Line. I think he averages 10, 12, 13 outrights a year. Winners. So it's a marathon.
Maybe he'll get the Puerto Rico Open, too.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he'll hit that.
He has double dipped in the past.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
Yep. Good.
Okay, we have college basketball underway as we speak.
Jerry Palm coming up. He was on Money Moves. Incredible thoughts on Miami of Ohio. We hear from one bracketologist, and then Joe Lunardi goes after Bruce Pearl with some facts. And he did a great job today as he's made the case for Miami of Ohio.
Under 2 minutes to go, first half, Tennessee on top of South Carolina, 35-26. That number came down?
Yeah, 12.5 down to 9.5, 9.
And I have 2 different bets on the Alabama-Georgia game. That's underway as well. Just tipped off 6-4 early Georgia in that game. Said this before on the show. We do have in-pocket plays coming up, but I bet the game over, and I took an out total over as well at plus money. These 2 teams play ultra-fast paces, although recent games have dialed it down a little bit, but the offensive rating's not going back like all year, and specifically the last 5 games. Georgia's in the 99th percentile offensively in the country, higher than 134 overall last 5 games, and Alabama's right behind them, 97th percentile, and averaging almost 129 overall with the offensive rating. Got to pick up the pace, though, boys. We can't have 10 points at the under 16 media timeout. We got to have, or 10 points exactly. We got to have like triple that if I want this pace to get there for me. So it's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. You can always get in touch with the show. Email is ftm@vsin.com. We're on X. Easiest spot for us to get the mentions during the show at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, at Pauly Howard. As he said, you're going to hear from Jerry Palm. Lunardi responded as well. And our in-pocket plays coming up next.
To determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3 to 1 odds. Nope. 5 to 1. Nope. 10 to 1. You're on.
Horrible showing by the Milwaukee Bucks. and Porter and everyone stayed well under their props. They had 69 points in the fourth quarter. That was ugly. One prop that lost. Eastern Washington could not get stops. They had the lead late. They lost a close one. So Eastern Washington money line at home. And Portland State, good to us again. They won by 25. That team has been money at home, ATS. They bury people. Santa Clara to make the tournament, no. Tim Murray with a great case on what if there's multiple bid thieves. That's going to hurt them. Plus, they're going to have to beat St. Mary's out here in the semis of the West Coast Tournament. Miami of Ohio to make it, no, plus 320. They're in action tonight in half an hour. SEC most bids, minus $2 at Caesars. UNLV plus 8.5 tonight. That's come down to 7.5. They beat Utah State on the road in the first meeting. I think Utah State's Fugazi. Rebels plus all those points. To the new place, eclectic mix. So Lafayette, this is the first round of the Patriot League tonight. They swept Holy Cross and blasted them at home. They're at home tonight. It opened 2.5. We'll go great at 4.5 tonight against Holy Cross. Trying to go 3-0. This, I was sold by Adam Burke's write-up today. This is the Coastal Athletic Conference. This is not a conference tournament game yet. Monmouth trying to get in the top 4 in the conference tourney. Northeastern locked in. They're at the bottom. They know who they're playing Friday. Is the last place team, 13th place. They haven't won since mid-January. Monmouth buried them in the first meeting. They're 2.5 on the road. What am I missing?
Little fishy there, buddy.
Little fishy? Okay. TCU plus the points against Texas Tech. I feel a letdown coming for the Red Raiders. Ottawa, Edmonton over tonight, 6.5. Listen to these numbers on the Oilers. 10 games in a row, there's been a combined 7 goals or more. They've allowed 4 goals in 8 of their last 10. I've seen as high as $1.80 over 1.5 first period. Goals aplenty tonight in Edmonton and the Tankapalooza parlay. Last night I put it in, it paid plus 133. It's Suns, Hornets, Magic, Heat, T-Wolves, Thunder money line. You're playing against all the teams that are tanking, 6 of them, for plus money and the big spreads. Big boys tonight. There you go. Good luck.
I'm looking right now, see where these numbers have gone. Yeah, it's a little bit higher than that right now if you want to go back and bet it again. I can't believe that.
It's gone up?
Yeah, plus 155 right now.
Wow.
Might want to bet it again. I thought it was going to be like even money right now.
Yeah.
Okay. The plays here tonight, Sadiq Bey over 16.5 points, minus 105, averaging 22 plus points per game in his last 17 games. And he had 22 against the Lakers when they played back in November. College bets, I think it's a bad spot for Kentucky, but also Texas A&M still kind of needs to have the game. And I say that because when you look overall, like at Bracket Matrix and Lenardi, where they're at, while they're in the Texas A&M is sitting in the group of last 4 buys for Lenardi. Kentucky off the great win, throttling Vandy at home. Also, A&M, last team on the 10 line of Bracket Matrix. Bart Torvik has Kentucky 100% in, A&M only 88%. Split them up here. I did both. Money line in the first half and minus 120. Money line for the game, minus 125. This game is currently in action. Bama, Georgia over 180.5. And I played an alt over 185.5 plus 144 for half a unit. Shots aren't going in as we speak, but Bama's third on offense, 4th in tempo overall. Bulldogs top 16 on offense, 22nd in tempo. Last 5 games offensively. Bama, again, 128.5, 97th percentile. Georgia, 134.2, 99th percentile overall, 99th overall. So, I don't know. I need to pick it up a little bit, 17-15, under 13 minutes to go here in the first half.
It's getting juicy now. First bid goes out Saturday. 4 tickets are punched Sunday. Don't forget the Summit League is Sunday night, their title game. And then Conference Championship Week heats up a week from yesterday. Get our Hoops Mania special. VSiN Pro access through May 1st, $29.99. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The March Mania betting guide. Profiles for every tournament team. Key trends for each round. bracket picks, future strategies, best bets. If you're betting the tournament, betting championship week, this is a must. And great tidbits like Adam Burke's article today, VSiN.com/subscribe. Get it now, $29.99. Hoops has got like 15 plays a day. 29, and he's got a big discrepancy in the George Mason game, when he makes that line against, I think it's VCU today. VSiN.com/subscribe.
Let me throw these numbers at you real quickly. Looking at Caesars, they have conference most tournament bids. You have a bet on it. Why did the SEC go to $1.50?
Because Auburn lost an updated bracketology. Auburn is now out, and Ohio State got into the field beating Purdue.
Okay. There's also this. What seed will win the tournament this year? Remember we said this, was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. It was $1.80 at Caesars yesterday. This morning I checked $2. Right now, $2.20.
Wow. Incredible. Joe Lenardi, bracketology today. I try to avoid debates without clear right or wrong answers. But Bruce Pearl's argument against Miami of Ohio as an at-large requires context. First, we have no idea. And this is me talking. For Bruce to say that was ridiculous. Oh, they're a better team. Like, come on.
For him to say we?
Yeah. And
can't have that on TV.
No, he can't. And his son's the coach. We have no idea whether Auburn's the better team. Second, Miami has won 4 more true road games than Auburn has played. And road teams in college basketball win less than 1/3 of the time.
It's very difficult to do.
Finally, in the modern history of the tournament, great mid-majors have won almost twice as many games as the middling high majors, despite fewer bids and worse seeds. It's possible Miami's the worst undefeated team of all time, and Auburn is the best 500 team. But it's way more likely Pearl would be better off leaving bracketology to the professionals. Lenardi has Miami of Ohio in if they stub their toe in a conference tournament. They're in action tonight, laying 8.5. Jerry Palm, bracketology, CBS College Sports, and CBS Sports earlier on Money Moves.
Oh, no, they have to win the league. They have to automatically qualify. Their strength of schedule is 346 this morning. That is bottom 20 in Division I. I've been doing this 30 years or so, and the worst non-conference schedule ranking to get an at-large bid was 229, I want to say, thereabouts. So basically 115 spots higher than where Miami is right now. In fact, there probably weren't even 340 Division I teams back then. It was 1994. So, it's great that they're undefeated, and I don't want to diminish that accomplishment, but the Toledo game, the Ohio game that they have left in the regular season, those games don't mean anything. The games that matter are the games in the conference tournament, because if they don't win it, they're not going to make it.
I think he's dead wrong. I don't see, envision a scenario where 33-1 can't get an at-large bid. They have to win out. They have to win these next 2 games, no doubt. But the dangerous precedent you're setting. And also, as Jeff Borzello said earlier,
there should be a national outcry if that happens.
That you are rendering the regular season irrelevant for mid-majors.
Yep.
I don't care who you play. I don't care how bad the schedule is. If you're 33-0 and losing your conference final to a good Akron team, and you don't get an at-large, I mean, that is just, and consider the crap they put in every year, and they're giving these guys the benefit of the doubt almost all the time, too, as mid-majors are falling by the wayside, not getting the at-large respect, and putting in Texas and Oklahoma last year at 6-12.
They're tipping off
league play.
In 6 minutes. DraftKings pulled them. They're no longer available.
The game's off the board?
No. Them to actually make or miss the tournament.
Oh, okay. Last check, did you see it?
Right now, I'm looking at, I thought they were up. FanDuel has them minus 350 to make it right now.
To make it?
To make it minus 350. They're plus 255 to miss. I think I'm going to follow you on that because
Well, they also could lose earlier than that, too.
Yeah. So
and then that's...
I think, so Palm sounds extremely opinionated with that. And he is, but that's just, he's going strictly, I think, based off the numbers.
Yeah, but we've never seen this before.
Right, and that's why he doesn't think they're going to get in.
They've also never...
They've
never taken a team with 3 losses or fewer as an at-large. That's never happened. You got to put them in.
I think a lot of other coaches are going to scream holy hell if this happens.
Yes.
And I hope Power 5 coaches do that. Up next, prime time. They'll take you through the entire live betting night for 4 hours into cashing out with Dustin Sweetelson. Good luck with your bets tonight. We'll see you.